Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, wake up, I gotta.
Ladies and gentlemen, College Couch Podcast. We're here back in session. Ladies and gentlemen, Javaris Harris, Stackz Delbridge, forever in the building. My brother, how you doing? What's going on, man?
Man, I'm living the dream, dog. Living the
Yeah,
dream.
that's all we can do, brother. That's all we can do. March Madness. I mean, just absolutely insane. First off, update on the brackets. Our women's bracket did surprisingly better than our men's did, right? Um, of course, we picked both of the winners. We did pick
No
both of the winners, but
surprise. No
no
surprise.
surprise, no surprise. I mean, come on, it's us. But the journey to picking the champions was a little rocky in our men's on our men's side, but our women's, I think we kind of started getting a little shaky in the final four. I think we had picked Florida. I think we had picked Texas instead of it was a team that I can't. It was I know we picked I can't remember who our final four was, but I know we had one of the teams as Texas and not the other. That actually made it, and I think
Right.
that's what threw us off towards the end. But it doesn't matter. We picked the champion correctly, so which was a great call. I mean, that was a beautiful call. You couldn't have called it, no better, Stacks. I think, just from the explanation that you gave, it was Paige's time. I mean, she was the last of the 2020 class with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink. You know what I'm saying? So she had to close out her college career the right way, and I think it couldn't have been any better,
Yeah, I
for her.
mean, she been knocking on the door for forever, plus the injuries and everything like that. And then last year, their whole team pretty much was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they still made it like to the final four. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So they got everybody back healthy. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't see them losing in the tourney. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In South Carolina, you know, as long as they have Staley as their coach, they should be in the picture every year.
Mhm.
Winning it is a different story just because of all the transfer portal, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they made it to the championship without a superstar, like they didn't have a go-to person or a big, you know, excuse me, which is I think how UConn beat them was because they didn't have no bigs for real. They didn't have any bigs or nobody to take over. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, but kudos to them. They still made it happen. Even without a star, without a big. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was a good ride for both teams. Both
Mhm.
teams. UConn just had little too much juice in the tank for South Carolina this year, but I'm sure South Carolina will be back next year or make it close or be in the picture. So,
Yeah. And
and
I think I were you saying something?
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead.
I was saying I feel like from this national championship game, for the ones that ride, riding with Don Staley, and for the ones, for also that riding with, the girls at South Carolina, y'all have no reason to be disappointed. Y'all have no reason to be upset. Y'all have no reason whatsoever. If anything, you should be celebrating UConn. Like Gino gets another a national championship. Paige ends off her college career the right way. South Carolina has left, nothing left to prove, in my opinion. Like South Carolina has done what they needed to do. Don Staley, one of the greatest coaches of all time, going at it with Coach Gino, one another greatest coach of all time. Like
I mean, you kind of have to argue that he's the best coach, greatest coach of all time. Because I
what
mean,
100%. I
he's
mean,
got 12 championships, the
yeah,
most across all sports.
it
So I
one
mean,
hundred percent, one hundred
uh,
percent agree. And that's what I'm saying. So that makes the point even more. Like for Gino to just be solidified, this is now Don Staley time to, pretty much reap the benefits of not only facing off against Gino, but now when Gino officially retires, Don Staley is now up. But
it's
at the
kind of
same
like
time,
with Saban and
exactly,
Kirby. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, 100%. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
you have no reason to be
Yeah,
disappointed. I mean,
I think she's created a culture where everybody expects them to win the championship every
mhm,
year. So when they don't know how to react. Same
right,
thing how Bama is. Same thing how Georgia has become. You know what I'm saying? You build a winning culture, you get so used to being the team. It's like when you fall short of that mark, whether you make playoffs or whatever, it's like, oh, we trash now. No, I
yeah,
mean it's not you trash. I mean what I mean, it's only a select few coaches that get to win 12 championships or 8 championships. I mean, that's that's a whole nother stat line in its own right. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like, I guess it's rare you come across a Saban or you know what I'm saying, anybody like that or anything. So I don't think South Carolina has anything to worry about. You know, UConn, I definitely don't think I have anything to worry about. Whatever, but uh great women's basketball season this past year. And on the flip side, what a year for Florida. You know what I'm saying?
man,
They are some dogs, man. I mean, we were at the mercy of their guard play. Oh my gosh, man. Like
yeah,
I mean, it was just their year. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It just happens like that sometimes. Sometimes you get a team, you get that right gel, that right fit. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Your guard play, your back court, front court, everybody's just playing good. You know, and Florida hit their stride right on time. So
yeah. I think with Florida, you kind of have to like again another team who had really been out of the loop for real. Like hadn't really had. I don't think they've won since that back to back season.
now
So
they haven't won since Al Horford was there.
yeah, so the back to back the back
Yeah,
to back
and
championship. So
Corey Brewer and Noah and Joakim Noah. Yeah, so I
over
mean,
overdue, over a
oh,
blue
for
blood
sure.
that was severely overdue. So you got Walter Clayton and Will Richard who just came in and said, "All right, bro, we got to change the culture." And granted, I've been joking with Florida fans. I was telling them like I hate it with y'all, but I was so glad it was an SEC school. You know what I'm saying? It looked great for the conference.
Man, bump that. Their jokers ain't had to win.
I got listen. Listen. Nah, you got to respect it. And I mean,
Nah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
it was Florida. It was Florida's year, and they capitalized and they made great strides. They put up some dog fights. I remember when I came down there and saw the Florida and Auburn game with you when Florida was at home. I'm sorry, when Auburn was at home, and I was just so like locked in on how like close of a game it was when they beat y'all.
Yeah,
So man,
and then I mean, and then the tourney it was the
yeah,
same. It was the same way, you
hmm
know.
yeah,
I mean, it was not a blowout by any stretch. And in the championship, you know, they had to survive too. You know,
yeah.
Houston wasn't no joke. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I hate that for Houston though, man, because they really gassed themselves out late in that second half. To really close out the game. And when you have those big like long bigs like Florida has, who are literally just their ability to block shots turns into offense for them. So when they're blocking shots, when they're active around that paint and able to create offense like that for points, your game is pretty much
Yeah.
won there.
If it's a
So
fast paced game, a fast
yeah,
break type game, Florida's
mhm,
gonna hit you in the mouth, and that's
yeah,
in the Final Four. That's kind of what Auburn, you know, held them to the half court sets and stuff like that, and kind of played. They played second half. Florida said, "All right, enough is enough.
yeah,
Let's get out and play our ball. Let's get on the break and run." And then and in the championship, same thing. So I mean, uh, yeah, kudos to Florida, kudos to Houston. They played great this year. Played great in the tourney. Houston had to get past some dogs. So did Florida. So um, yeah, we just like to see some good basketball being played, and I know we saw that. So
yeah, absolutely. And again, just a phenomenal year basketball. I think just man, you romanticize how well like March Madness does every year, and then when it's finally over, you're just like, dang. And granted, this is coming from two guys that really didn't watch during the regular season, but when March Madness comes on, you are locked in, man. I was up in not Florida. I was up in upstate New York during the first week of March Madness, and man, it was insane. Just YouTube TV allowing you to watch all four games at one time. So man, we were locked and loaded and just sitting in all day watching basketball, man. So it was great. So but yeah, man, I just yeah, hey, until next March, I guess that's the best way
For
to
sure,
put it. Until
for
next
sure,
March.
for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before we move on, I did want to add to the to the thought of the transfer portal for women's. So your girl Malaysia Fuwali is transferring,
Yeah.
but how about they pick up an absolute like just scoring machine of Tanaya Latson from Florida State? What's your thoughts on that?
Uh, I think it's good for both because I mean, for a while I
Mhm.
can't get mad at her for transferring because
Yeah.
she's been the backup freshman and sophomore year, six man. I mean, six woman. Excuse
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
Um, she's played her role. Played her role. I mean, I definitely think she's got some room to grow, which every player does. But yeah, I think she waited her turn. She didn't because I mean, freshman year she was back up, and then she came in sophomore year she was still back up. Um, she wants to start, and when she
Yeah.
with the talent she has, she can start. Like, don't get me wrong, I always give the transfer portal grief, but when it makes sense, it makes sense. Like you especially with college, you get into your junior year, you're not going to be the starter or whatever. Even though you feel like you've earned that, but they bring somebody else in who's already has been a starter and is put up starter numbers and great numbers. You kind of want to put your bid out there and go somewhere else, which I think she'll have no problem getting somewhere else. I mean, because she's an exciting player to watch. And she can finish around the bucket. She can she plays defense. She gets a steal, gets on that break. You pretty much count it.
Right.
So I mean, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it. I think um South Carolina gets somebody that can score at will or whenever they want to. Um I think they need to add a big. So I mean, I think they're just trying to add the pieces that they felt that they were missing last year. And for a while, they might have said, you know what, I might have been the piece. But, with her play in that game, beside the fourth quarter at the end, when, all dogs were pretty much off, you
Hmm.
know, I think her play was kind of shaky. Like, I mean, the mental mistakes and things like that, Um, she plays fast. I just didn't see her slowing it down for the championship game. So, I mean, I think maybe Don Staley might have saw, hey, we got to get somebody else in here that understands uh the moment, you know. And I think for a while it was like, you know what, cool. If y'all gonna do that, I'm just gonna enter my name in the transfer report. I gave y'all my time. I worked for my spot. Now I don't have it because I mean, you think about it. She only has this upcoming year and the following year to make a case for herself to go to the league. So in that respect, I can understand the transfer portal. I mean, I understand it. You work
Yeah.
so hard to get to that starting slot, then they just bring somebody else in to start over you. So it's like, all right, well, let me go take my talents elsewhere where I know I can be the starter.
Yeah.
Somebody wants me to be the starter. So I
Agreed.
get it.
Agreed.
I get it. Not mad at it. Not mad at it at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And I mean, dude, I think what's even crazier is just how in the world you just pick up an absolute star like tonight last night. I mean, leading the nation in points.
I mean, it's
And
the
I mean,
Stanley effect, Don Stanley
yeah,
effect.
it's
I
the Don
mean,
Staley effect, but also you get you just absolutely reload like that. Like that's a reload within itself. Like Tanaya Laston, like that's crazy. That is
yeah, yeah,
insane. So
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, and that's great. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, you want to go play for a coach that is good. That's why UConn has always been so good because everybody wants to come play
Hmm.
for that program because it's a historic program. It's a great coach, a historic coach. Don Staley is building South Carolina into a historic program.
Right.
Where it once wasn't. wasn't that. Like we weren't talking about South Carolina like that before, she got there. So you want to go play for a coach like that. The same thing how Bama was. I mean, you would go play for Bama, but when Saban got there, you was like, nah, I'm going to play for Saban. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Same with Kirby Smart. Like, I mean, you went to Georgia because it was Georgia. Maybe you grew up a Georgia fan, but now you go to Georgia because you want to play for Kirby Smart. You want to see that. You want to do all of that. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You seen what he's done. Like, Don Staley has put several women into the WNBA, and they've, become great players. Like, you know what I'm saying? Asia being the biggest one. You know, so I mean, you want to play for a coach like this.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of sells itself. So
Absolutely.
can't
Absolutely.
get mad at it. But speaking of transfer portal, let's work over to the news of the day and the week. My boy Nico, I'm a believer,
Bro, how
and
insane.
he sure got up out of there.
How insane is that? Like, bro, like just imagine, right? You your net worth is apparently, you think your estimated net worth is $4 million, right? And you want that money, but also the only thing to show for on your resume this past season was, okay, I guess you got Tennessee into the college football playoffs,
But
but also you beat Alabama. That's it.
no, I mean, uh, uh, he didn't get them to there. His numbers didn't suggest I beat Bama.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. His numbers didn't suggest I got us to the playoffs. No. Defense played good this past year for them. Running backs played good this past year for them. His line played good for him this past year for them. The coaching was good. His numbers don't reflect 4 million. He wasn't even a Heisman prospect at the end.
Yeah,
So and watching him play Georgia played terrible.
yeah,
You know, watching him play Georgia, I mean Florida, I mean not Florida, play Bama. He did not play super great. With all the expectations he had coming into the season last year, he didn't live up to those. That one he played best in that one game in the bowl game. So maybe this move was good for him to go get out of the SEC because obviously he's not an SEC quarterback.
mhm,
But for me, you're not worth $4 million. $4 million, that's a rookie contract.
yeah,
That's what Bryce Young is getting as a rookie. Caleb Williams is getting as a rookie. Like you're not that. And
yeah,
we're talking about somebody that won a Heisman and another one, you know what I'm saying, that did it at two different schools and was good. You know? So I mean, you think about it. You want to say you're worth $4 million, you only got one season under your belt. And that season was mediocre. You know what I'm saying? Um, don't get me wrong, big advocate for NIL. Do I think they deserve money? Yes. He was reportedly making $2.5 million. Bro, you can't do anything with $2.5 million, and you were skipping out on your NIL thing, your obligations. So come on, man. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you
yeah,
negotiate. You say, okay, this is what I want.
yeah,
Y'all work an agreement out, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying. You say, hey, I mean, your play has to reflect that. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? Your play, like $4 million for me, that's an exceptional player. That's a player that was in the might not have won it, but was in the Heisman conversation with, you know, won a playoff game or because you say he got to the playoffs this year, but the playoffs was expanded. Had it been, the non-expanded playoffs, you wouldn't have been in.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So, and you got in there, but because other teams lost. So it's not like you was a clear cut, like you didn't even win your conference, so you didn't win the conference. So you can't say, oh, I got in because we won. Like Want to be technical? I mean, Carson Beck worth more than that joke, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with all the injuries Georgia's had, he ended up still getting Georgia to the playoffs.
Mhm.
You know, but as bad as he played, he still, you know what I'm saying. So it's like for me, like, come on, dog. I'm all for getting your paper, but you gotta know your worth, know
But
the sports you playing, know what's going on.
but look at it this way too. Look at how it led up. So you're not. First off, he was never negotiating. It was his father it sounded like that was negotiating for him. Like my thing is, okay, cool. Advocate for your son. Try to try to get him the best deal possible. But my thing is, I have an issue with why is it that you feel that you have to necessarily, in a way, it feels like he's living through his son. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, let your son, if your son like wants to do this and like be absolutely done with, let him do that. Because now it paints a horrible image of your son. And granted, just how all of this has played out, I feel like the image is tarnished for Nico Iamaleava. Like it
Yeah.
just does not feel like this situation. It didn't end well. Like this man, Nico looks like an absolute like tool. Like he looks like a horrible person, all because of what his dad has done to his image.
Well, I
You
don't
know
think
what I'm
he
saying?
looks like a horrible person. And as a parent, you want the best for your kid. And you try to get that. Like prime example with Jaden Daniels' mom being
Yeah.
his manager, stuff like that. So I mean, that's okay. I'm not mad about like LeVar Ball negotiating for his sons,
Hmm.
advocating for his son. Like I'm not mad about that. It's just the fact that you can't put what you think your kid is over what your kid actually is.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I could think my kid is a $10 million athlete, but I have to understand that in reality, the way they've played, maybe 2.5 million is about right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you negotiate. Yeah, you could start high with the 4 million or whatever, but work it. To where it's like it might be more than 2.5, but not quite as high as 4 million,
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm not against him going in that, but for me, for you to basically the part to where I don't like is that you basically shut the deal down and made it seem like it was Nico that was wanting this, and in turn it was you that was
Hmm.
wanting this. So now it looks like Nico's hard to play with, and this, that, and the third. He wants the
Yeah.
money. He's not playing for the team. He's not. He don't want, like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um. So that's what I feel. Because I mean, you think about it. College football, the community, although it seems big to the masses, it's very, very small,
Mhm.
and they talk. So he couldn't even go to Tulane. Couldn't even go to these other colleges. Colorado came out and said we don't want him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, uh, you make other coaches kind of hesitant.
Hmm.
But the only way that you can save the reputation in the expense of how much you're asking for is if he comes to UCLA and has a breakout season. Now, if he brings UCLA to the playoffs and has a great season and ends up in the Heisman conversation, okay, all right, maybe he was worth $4 million. But if you go to UCLA and you play terrible after coming from the SEC and seeing that, and I would say the same thing if it was somebody coming from Big Ten or whatever, or big school like if he was at Ohio State or something. If he was coming to UCLA, I expect you to already know what winning football is supposed to feel like or look like, or what the top notch defenses are supposed to show you or
Yeah.
whatever. But and for you to ask for $4 million, I expect you to be a dog.
Yeah.
Like, kind of how Bo Nix went to Oregon, from Auburn and balled out because he had seen some of the best defenses within like Georgia, Bama, and all these other teams. So for me, the only way he saves all of that is if he balls out and has a great season. You know,
So okay, I think the thing is that I just really want to hit on is you skip out on practice because of deal negotiations, which is, dude, honestly, that's stupid to me because even if your deal was, if you want to stay at Tennessee, you would have went to practice. It sounded like
right,
he didn't want to. He don't want to even be at Tennessee anymore
right,
because not only could you have negotiated, but you probably could have even made some shake to where they may have thrown you a little more because you still showed up to practice, you still showed up for your for your team, you still showed up for your brothers. You probably could have got 4.5, maybe even 5, but you didn't show up. Not only that, you decommit on the day of your spring game, or I'm sorry, you enter the transfer portal the day of your spring game. Like, how much of a slap in the face is that to Tennessee? Tennessee fans already go through enough.
right,
They go
right.
through enough. And for you to do that, dude, it's so disrespectful to not
Yeah,
only just the university.
and I
It,
will agree with you on the timing. Like
yeah.
all of this, to me, all of this should have been, you know, when the portal opened up.
Mhm.
You know, you trying to get your deals and stuff going on. January, February, you should be already in the portal.
Yeah.
It's because spring games are happening. Like, because for one, for the team that you're on, give them the courtesy of letting them know, hey, I don't want to be here.
Hmm.
So now, because Tennessee is thinking, oh, well, we ain't got to go get a quarterback. We just gonna run it back with Nico. But in reality, it's like, no, dog, I'm not coming.
This
Like,
is
you know what I'm
horrible
saying? And then you
timing.
do it on the spring game. That's like, I don't think it makes him look like a bad person. I just think, to me, it makes him look like he's not using his own voice. That's
Yeah.
what I think. Um. So like I said, and then so on the flip side, you want to give your team that you're on the courtesy of all of that, but then on the flip side, you want to go ahead and get in with your new team because you ain't got but so long. Like, it's April. Like, you got what, 3 4 months, and then
Yeah.
the season is
Yeah.
you got to learn their playbook, their style of play, their receivers, their line. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn all that, their facilities. Get in there with their nutritionists. Get in with the workouts. You know what I'm saying? Get in with the coaches. Understand, and then the thing for me, you say you wanted to have the best fit for your quarterback. You committed to Tennessee, so you thought it was a good fit in the beginning.
Hmm.
The offense ran through you. You know what I'm saying? And then they designed stuff for the running back. Like, you know, so I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You say UCLA is a good fit. I just think UCLA was like, all right, we'll just throw you this money because I
Well,
mean,
it, from what I gathered, he wanted to go back closer to home anyway. I mean, it was either going to be between USC or UCLA, and I think USC probably wouldn't have been. I mean, granted, Lincoln Riley is probably one of the best quarterback developers I've seen in probably my life. Just the way he develops quarterback and getting them NFL ready. But I just don't think that would have been a great situation to put him in. Again with the timing, and then I just don't think USC would have wanted him. But I think UCLA was just probably the better fit for him. Um,
I don't necessarily think it was a great fit. I just think that's the only team that was left.
again, great fit. Also, timing purposes as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it. I just think because I think Tennessee was a great fit. It's the way that it
I
was
mean, yeah,
everything, like,
of
because everything
course.
was designed for him to flow. Because he showed promise at
Yeah.
US. I mean, at Tennessee. So it's like for me, I personally think it's just the money thing.
Mhm.
I think USC was like,
Yeah.
nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to go back home, that's fine.
Mhm.
Like, cool. Say that. Don't just try to make it like, oh well, I want to go back home, but if you give me $4 million, I stay. No, don't. No.
Yeah. No.
If you want to go back home, just say, all right, look, I'm gonna transfer nothing to y'all. I want to go back home. Now, if you go back home and then you go to UCLA and they don't fulfill your obligations, okay, cool. Then you can have that conversation and come out and say, hey, I'm not going to UCLA anymore because the money wasn't right. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I could respect that more. But for you to try to, you know, like, come on, man, you gotta earn some type of stripes. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you made it to the playoffs, beautiful. But let's be real. This is, although this season was a lot more competitive because everybody felt like they could get into the playoffs. This was a lot easier playoff to get into because it was more teams.
Mhm.
In past, either you was top four, you got in, or you was top two and got in. You
Yeah.
know, before it changed over to the playoff format. Um, so it was harder. So because Tennessee wasn't top five coming into the end of the season. They weren't top five. They was like number 8, number 9, which is cool,
Yeah.
but that's not a hard thing to get. You know what I'm saying? With the type of caliber of players that you have,
Mhm.
you know, um, and the team you say everybody tries to say, okay, well, Bama is the team, the game that he can hang his hat on. Bama was not the team of past this year. Now, had he beat Saban's Bama, kudos to you. Like, that's an accomplishment. But this was not that Bama.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, uh, yeah, because you got Bama at their decline this year.
Mhm.
You got Bama right after they beat Georgia.
Mhm.
And then if you notice, after that game, that was the highlight of Bama's year.
Right.
That was the highlight. Then the next week, Vandy, they lost to Vandy. And then, it was like a decline from there. So you can't, like, had you beat them, you know what I'm saying, when Vandy beat them, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because you just beat Georgia or whatever, but it was a downhill slope right after Georgia. So it's like you can't really hang your hat on that. Because what do we always say? You can beat these teams, but if those teams don't continue to win, then the win kind of loses its respect. Like, prime example, uh, I could beat Georgia, but if Georgia loses the rest of his games, what? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I agree.
okay, you beat Georgia, but Georgia's not good this year. Or you beat Bama, but Bama's not good this year. Or you beat whatever team, but they're not good this year.
Mhm.
You can say up until that point, but then what they do after that, it's like, yeah,
Right.
you
I
know what I'm
got
saying?
it.
Like,
So
did you really beat a good team?
I do want to add before we move on to the next topic because I just thought of something um before we try to even think about ending the episode. When we talk about NIL, I think the first thing that comes to mind, because not only did I have a conversation with your stepmom on Sherry, who's the biggest Tennessee fan we know, but I also think about like the position that Reggie Bush was in, where he couldn't even get NIL, where he was
Right.
having to kind of
Now
beat around
that's
the
a four
bush.
million dollar player.
It's a
That's
100,
that's a $4 million
not
player.
even, brother, probably
I mean,
10 million,
that's that's
probably
that's that's
10
that's
million.
light. Yeah, but
You
that's
know what I'm
that's
saying?
light.
Exactly.
But you
And
see the level of,
yes,
what I'm saying?
yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Vince
Hmm.
Young, same
Hmm.
thing when he was in his prime. Those are players that can negotiate four
Yeah,
million dollar contracts and stuff like that because you've earned it. Travis Hunter, that's a $4 million player to me. You playing both sides of the ball at that high level, especially in college. We haven't
yeah,
seen him doing it in the league yet, but we talking about college.
yeah.
He did it at a high level on both sides. That's a $4 million player.
Right.
You know, Shador, $4 million player. Cam Ward, $4 million player. You know what I'm saying? With the amount, not playoff wise, but the
So
amount of numbers that they put up. You
exactly, and
know,
I was just gonna say Shador would definitely be a 4.5 million player only because he broke the incentive. He broke a lot of records, so I would definitely give him that 4.5
not even,
because
but
of
even
the
outside
incentive.
of the records, like, look, he's a Golden Arm winner. Like, you know what I'm
True,
saying?
true.
So, and the numbers speak for itself, and he did
Mhm.
it without a line. He
Yeah,
was running for his life every time. That is a player to be worth $4 million. Cam Ward came to Miami, instantly changed the culture. put up insane numbers. Although he did that stupid junk in the bowl game. I mean,
Yeah.
that's but his
Mhm.
body of work separates that for me.
Yeah.
That's a $4 million player. You know what I'm saying? You come there, you change the culture of a team, and you actually get. When the last time? I think the last time we got excited about Miami actually making a run was when Mark Rick was there when the turnover chain was introduced or
Oh my
whatever
God. Yeah.
that year.
Yeah.
And then that quickly went away and
Mhm.
declined or whatever. So when you change a culture like that, you know what I'm saying? Because Nico didn't change the culture at Tennessee. Tennessee had already 2-3 years prior they was right there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying with Hendon Hooker.
When Josh Heupel came in, bro, like that instantly
He
changed.
changed the
Yeah.
culture. Like you know
Josh
what I'm saying.
Heupel.
We're not
Yeah.
like normally a coach changes the culture. That's his
Mhm.
whole job. But normally when a quarterback comes in and he's elite, he changes the entire culture of that program.
Right.
You have no choice. Tim Tebow changed the culture of Florida, even though I mean you had a great in Urban Meyer.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. You
You
good?
had a great in Urban Meyer as your coach, but Tim Tebow accepted that task. And when you think of those Florida championships, you think of Urban Meyer second. First thing people going to say is Tim Tebow,
Yeah.
Cam Newton, even though he was a part of that team when he got to Auburn, changed the whole culture of Auburn. You would have thought we've been winning forever the way that
Right.
he came in and just changed it, how he perceived our team. You know what I'm saying? And I can go to one that doesn't get the love. Stetson Bennett. When he started playing in Georgia and started shifting or whatever,
Mhm.
he changed the culture how people perceive Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Even though people respected Georgia because it's Georgia, he changed the culture. He made like you know what I'm saying? He brought the running quarterback back to Georgia.
Yeah.
He would you know what I'm saying? Like I still don't understand for life of me how he's hated so much, but hey, it's not my job. But you know what I'm saying? These quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? Stetson at first, no, he was not a $4 million quarterback. But when he left, heck yeah. After the first championship, heck yeah, he a $4 million quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Just because he shifted the culture. Like, you know what I'm saying? He made you want to tune in. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for me, I tuned in initially to the season to watch him, to watch Nico. But then I started tuning in to watch the running back.
Right.
Then I started tuning in, because the defense. Because, I mean, you can't have a top tier offensive line and still put up mediocre numbers and think that you worth $4 million. Like,
Right.
I could plug in numerous quarterbacks that if they had a line like that, I mean, Shador being one of them. Like, had Shador had a line like Tennessee, we probably
Listen.
talking about Colorado making a playoff push. You
Exactly.
know,
But
so I mean,
okay, yeah.
go ahead, go ahead,
Finish.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I just want to ask you real quick. Um. Again, I told you I had a conversation with Unshared. And basically, I think where I was, from my standpoint, should or should they not put like a cap on NIL? Like she was saying that there should be no college player that's getting over $1 million. They shouldn't be getting paid nowhere close to where NFL players are getting paid. You
I
know,
think, I think, I think it should be based off performance
yeah,
at
and that was
school.
the thing though. Like my from my standpoint, I was saying if you have these collectives, right, where people are throwing money into these collectives day by day, these players are going to ask off rip, I want this amount of money, right? Because I know how much money is being put in this collective by
Right.
the day. If I don't get it, there's going to be a problem because where is this other money that you're not giving me going towards? You know what I'm saying?
So say, and that's why I said based off performance
Yeah.
because you can say that, but you think about it. Okay, if you want to look at it like that, look at it like NFL, right? Because now
Hmm.
we got to look at it like that because you're trying to get paid like that.
Yeah.
So you say where all the money going? Okay, if you're a quarterback, who you gonna throw the ball to? Okay,
Hmm.
if I give you $5 million and I only give him 500, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna play like he wants to. You know what I'm saying? If there's no incentive for him to
Yeah.
go ball out, You have nobody to throw it to. Okay,
But
and then
but
but
again, the player no the that's the thing. The players are being paid. Like everybody's getting their fair equal payout. But again, we're talking about a collective where millions and millions of dollars are being thrown in
right, and so
by donors.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
from off your statement of
Yeah.
a player coming in saying
Mm-hmm.
that okay, you're giving me this, but where's it up? Because it's more
Yeah.
than $4 million in that pot.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than $10 million in that pot.
Exactly.
But you got to understand that pot is just not for football too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got well, okay, I'm gonna use Auburn, just not because they're in any
Yeah.
conversation, but just because Auburn had a championship run this year. So you got to play Janai Broom, you got to play Pettiford, you got to play the rest of the players that's on that team to make that push. Okay, that's one sport. So then you switch over to football, which football usually for most schools makes the money, right?
Yeah.
Just because off ticket sales, the stadiums are
Exactly.
bigger, all of that type of stuff, and atmosphere. Um, so okay, you're a quarterback. You're saying you want this money. You got to have a receiver. You got to have another receiver. You can't just throw to one person.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have a running back because if all you do is throw the ball, and you know what I'm saying, that's not gonna work. We've seen how that works in college at least. And then you got to have a line because who's gonna block for you? Because none of this goes without the line. You know, I don't care how good you are. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If you have no line, it's hard to win. You can still put up the numbers, but it's hard to win
Mm-hmm.
because you're running to somebody that has an even better defensive line, and then it's not gonna work, right? So then you got that, right? So that's just one side of the ball, right? So then on the other side of the ball, you've got to have a defensive line, you got to have DBs, you got to have linebackers, because if you have no defense, your offense is gonna sputter.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to be like Miami. Miami had to put up 50 points a game in order to win, and that's a recipe for a disaster. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, your offense is gonna give out, even though your offense is efficient and great. Your offense is gonna give out if you have no defense.
Right.
You know, so that's why I say based off performance. Say I personally think it should be okay if you're gonna put a cap on it, put a cap on 4 million or whatever, however much you're gonna do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
say based off of your performance, you come here. If you play well and you get these accolades, because that's what they do in the NFL, you get these accolades, then okay, cool. Like prime example with Gronk. He needed a certain amount of touchdown to get his $1 million bonus or
Right.
whatever, right? Uh, and he performed well to get that. So college, okay, if it might not be a touchdown incentive or whatever it is, okay, 1,000 yard rusher. We know you're 1,000 yard rusher. Okay, this is what we give you if you become 1,000 yard rusher. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because college football you want to win, so you're gonna run the plays. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because if no coach's job is safe in college football especially.
Right.
NFL a little different. You got a little tenure stuff like that. As long as you ain't going 0-12. But in college, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're out of there. And even
Right.
when you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're out of there if it don't look like they want it to look. So if you perform well and do your duty to the maximum of your ability, and this is what we're doing. You kind of let them, and you put it in there. Cause how much do you think you can throw this year? How many yards you know what I'm saying? Where do you see your career going? What do
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So if you live up to those expectations, okay, then we can talk. Like had Nico put up Heisman numbers and not won a Heisman, okay, $4 million. All right, cool. I kind of can't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like Bryce Young when he played. Matter of fact, Jaden Daniels. He played. That is a great example. He put up Heisman numbers, won the Heisman, and consistently was great. That's a $4 million player. You know what I'm saying? Bumped the NFL stuff in college when he was at LSU. He beat Bama with Saban there. You know, he put up the yards, he put up the stats. He threw for a lot of touchdowns, threw for a lot of yards, ran for a lot of yards, ran for touchdowns, put the team on his back, and became and was a dog. That's a $4 million player. So you get all these accolades and you perform well. Okay, yes, we have this coming for you. And then if it doesn't get met at the end of the season or whatever, cool. All right, then transfer. Get up out of there. Do what you got. I can do nothing but respect it. If you have done everything, like if you're a running back in your clause, I will get $2 million if I run for 1,000 yards, and you run for 1,000 yards or more, they don't give you your $2 million. Okay, cool. Leave. Cool. Because obviously nowadays it's not about going to a school that's a good fit. It's not about going to a school with a good coach. It's not about academic. You know what I'm saying? It's not about playing for a team you love. It's not about um playing for who's to the left and right of you. It's not about that anymore. It's about where can I go to get the most money, right? So if that's the case, to make these players play right, make it performance based. Make them feel like they in the NFL then. You know what I'm saying? Because put the pressure on them. Because now you got to ball out every day, every time, every carry, every pass, every down is more important because now you're not just playing to win the game. You're not just playing for who's beside you. Now you're playing for your money. You know what I'm saying? So if it's gonna be like that, then let's make it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because let's because it seems to me like these players don't want to work. They won't want to earn nothing. They feel like they're already good enough to be making $4 million. No, you got to prove that. That's the starting point for
Yeah.
the rookie quarterback. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't get Mahomes, as great as Mahomes was, I mean is, he didn't get that until a couple seasons, you know what I'm saying, after being consistently good. He didn't get
Right.
his big money till after he being consistently good. You know?
Yeah.
Same with Brady. Same with all these other quarterbacks. Like, you had to earn your keep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna make it like the NFL, okay, let's put a cap on it, and
Yeah.
let's say, okay, if you're performing this well, cool, and if you exceed that, then we can give you a little more. That's,
It's so crazy how we weren't even like this adamant when it first, like when NIL and the transfer portal really first started like making this run. But it's gotten to a point now where it's just like, dude, this is too much. Like this
but
is
see, I knew it
way
was
out
gonna
of hand.
happen. I knew it
Yeah.
was gonna happen
And the thing
because
is, there needs to be rules and regulations set into place, or this is going like there needs to be a transfer limit. There needs to be a possible, limit on
and,
NIL. Like
and there was
it's
one.
getting out of control.
There was one at one
Hmm.
point.
Hmm.
You would have to sit out a year, or you
Yeah.
if you couldn't transfer in conference, you know what I'm saying? You,
Well, the
you
thing, that not only that, but the thing was, I thought you had to get like a waiver in order to transfer.
yeah,
Like,
you did.
oh, I'm
Just
sorry, was it in season or was it? You can transfer in the off season, but during in season, you had to get a
Yeah,
waiver.
and then if you transfer,
Yeah.
you had to get a waiver because Cam had to get a waiver from his coach
Okay.
to transfer when he
Yeah.
transferred
Okay.
because
Okay.
he couldn't because the reason why Cam went to community college was because they wouldn't allow him to transfer to an in conference team.
Right. Right.
And so then he
Exactly.
went to Blinn, and then he went to Auburn,
Right.
and then just same like prime example like at the transfer portal, like we had a quarterback at Auburn that never ended up playing quarterback at Auburn, Joy Gatewood.
Mm-hmm.
He transferred from Auburn and then went to like a bunch of other school and ended up changing positions. He had to sit out a year the next year. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so that the transfer portal having those stipulations on it would make people think twice about transferring. You know, unless you get a waiver, like Justin Field had to get a waiver because of the reason why he left or whatever, and went to Ohio State. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, uh you might go to a school and think that something's gonna be something and it's not that. I understand that completely.
Mm-hmm.
But understand like you've got to there's ways to do things. If you're gonna transfer. But don't transfer because you're not being productive. Like if you're recruited a certain way, you know what I'm saying, go live out that and if those fulfillments are not met after, a certain time, because all you need is 1 year to
Mm-hmm.
get to the league. All you need is 1 year. One good year of tape. That's all you need. You don't have to be great as a freshman, great as a sophomore. No. People want to see how you grow and develop. You only need 1 year, whether that be your junior year, senior year, it doesn't matter. You need 1 year of tape. 1 year of tape. And a great combine or a great pro day or whatever. That's all you need. So with that being said, uh live fulfill what they've recruited you as. They said they were gonna make you a starter. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? If that's not being fulfilled, okay, go ahead and get up out of there. If they're not trying to get you, if they're playing favorites, whatever. But if
Yes.
they recruited you to have a package for you or whatever, and they give you your package, you know, play it out. And then if when it's time for you to start, if you don't start, then okay, now you get on up out of there. Cause all you need is 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I can name numerous players. One that comes into mind, two that come into mind. Stetson got drafted. He only had 2 years of college, consistently being a starter, right? And won a championship both of those years. Cam Newton had 1 year as a starter and made the best of it. Won a national championship, went undefeated. 1 year of D1 college football, Power 5 football, and got drafted #1. So them two examples right there don't show you. Stetson was a walk-on and had 2 years as a starter. Made the best of both of those years and got drafted. So it's not about starting as a freshman, starting as a sophomore. Now, once you get to your junior, senior, if you're not starting by then, now you can start saying, hey, if I'm not starting my junior year, I need to go. You know what I'm saying? Because you can go to a program that doesn't have as much competition, and then that's where you can shine and then get to the league and you get hit in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're a starter doesn't mean that you're great. Prime example, that Clemson DB that was in the national championship and kept getting burnt by Devontae Smith. He was a starter. And he got embarrassed on TV. So, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that he wouldn't end up being good. I'm just saying being a starter does not make you good.
Mm-hmm.
Training, preparation, being in a good situation, being with good coaches that, develop you. That's why Saban was so great. That's why Kirby Smart is so great. He makes you sit, wait your turn, and he recruits you like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to transfer from there, cool. But he's gonna develop you. They're gonna develop you. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole take on all of that, man. But I could be looking at it through an old school lens because you know
Yeah.
I wanted to go to a college because the coaches or because of the program or because of the school or because of the traditions that they had, development. You know what I'm saying? What they how they weight room was so that I could develop stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I got you. I got you. Well, the next thing that I wanted to hit on was definitely God, what is Dion doing over there at Boulder, dude? What is
What he's
Dion?
supposed to do?
Mm,
What he's supposed to do?
I don't know about that one.
Why not?
Shadur and Trav are being retired. What's your take?
If you can tell me the last player that came out of Colorado that put up numbers like both of them, then I would agree that
Okay,
they shouldn't be retired.
okay. So my take on it is, I I I can understand. I'm still on the fence about Shadur, but I can definitely understand why Travis is being retired. Trav
So
won the
so
track.
so you just contradicted yourself because you said that Shador broke records at Colorado.
I again, I understand he broke records at Colorado, but at the same time, any quarterback can break a record.
But
Travis,
why didn't they break it? When the last time somebody
brother.
broke the record at Colorado?
But at the same time, that's jersey retirement worthy when a quarterback, brother, the quarterback they got right now, the freshman can easily break the records at Colorado.
But he ain't did it.
But I'm saying he can.
But he
So you mean to
didn't.
tell me if
He
so
hasn't.
so I so I'll put it like this: if the freshman that breaks the records this upcoming season at Colorado, you gonna pull
So
your jersey back out of retirement?
if he has a 4 year, 3 or 4 year career like On like Shador did, heck yes.
Well, I'll put it like this: if every player that comes through Colorado they break a record, all the numbers will
That's
be
not gonna
tied.
happen.
Nobody's gonna have a
It's not
number.
gonna happen.
Okay, we'll see. But my
Because you
thing
gotta
is,
understand
dude,
something. You gotta
Tim,
understand
Tim,
something.
Tim Tebow won a national championship
You
at
so
Florida,
so so
won the
my brother, my
Heisman, and
brother,
still ain't been
my
retired.
brother. You're
Stetson
talking
won
about
two championships,
no.
still ain't been retired.
You're talking about teams that have had so many great players, right? Florida has had so many great players, so many. Colorado has had a handful, maybe,
It,
maybe.
it's wild to me though.
It's not wild because you got to
It's
think about it, brother. Brother, look at it. Look at the teams that we like. We're SEC fans, right?
yes.
Georgia had. You can count on. You can't even count on two hands how many team players Georgia has had, right?
Mhm.
So getting your jersey retired, you have to do some spectacular stuff, right?
Agreed.
Florida, same thing, right?
Okay.
Florida has had a whole lot of talent that has come through there, from DBs to quarterbacks to running backs to receivers,
So,
all of that. So what I'm saying to you is Colorado hasn't had that type of
mhm,
um um athlete consistently. You know what I'm saying? All these other big programs have had that consistently. Ohio State, historic. So to get your jersey retired at Ohio State, you have to do something super spectacular.
mhm.
Colorado, just 3 years ago, they wasn't even televised. 4 years ago, they wasn't televised.
Agreed.
So,
Dude, bro, we talk about the Dion effect so much on this podcast. Like,
and it's not even necessarily the Dion effect. Think about this, brother. Shador and Travis, even though Travis, I think, would have did it had he not done this, they went from playing HBCU
mhm,
at a high level to coming to Colorado. Although they didn't win a ton of games or win championship, they won 5, which Colorado had only won one before. Shador put up insane amount of numbers with no line, right? Running for his life. First year. Second year, same thing. And they won more games.
mhm.
You know, so you kind of have to, because you kind of have to respect it and um and say, hey, I mean, they're worth it because they literally could put Colorado back on the map.
When was
Well, on
Colorado
the
ever on
map.
the map? I was like, when was they
Thank
ever on the
thank
map?
you for proving my point.
But
Thank you for proving my point.
it's disheartening to. I mean, get it. I get it. Celebrate the guys, cool. Like that's fine. You can honor them every
Name
home
me,
game this season. But
name
retiring
me name me somebody else at Colorado that needs to be retired.
Jimmy
Name
Horn
me,
can be retired.
huh?
Jimmy Horn can be retired. If that's
No,
the case,
he didn't put up the numbers like
it
that.
don't matter. He still was a contribution.
But he didn't put up the
You
numbers
can
like
you
that.
can you can you can retire the other kid. I can't think of his name right now, but the other receiver.
Webster had
Retire
one
the
year.
running back. Retire Dylan
No,
Edwards.
you definitely can't retire
You
the running back because
it,
he didn't even have 1,000 yards. He didn't even have close to 1,000 yards.
retire Shallow for all I care. It doesn't matter. But my thing is, my thing is, it does not make any type of sense to
So
retire
what
these
you're
guys
saying that the only way you get your jersey retired is how? What is a
with
jersey retirement look like for
first
you?
off, again, I get Trav. I get Trav 100%. Trav was the best player in the country by far. I get it. But Shador, I'm still on the fence about. I
Why?
can't
Why? Why?
because
Why?
dude, again, you know
Didn't he
how
do? What
brother.
didn't he do? Let me
First
ask
off,
you this
first off,
genuinely.
it's a lot
Genuinely.
it's a lot more rare to win a Heisman than breaking a record.
I'm I'm not saying
It's the
I'm not
rarity of
look. So
winning the
I
Heisman.
didn't say I said what didn't Shador do
It's not
besides win the
about what he
Heisman? Because I
didn't
mean
do. It's about
you had a
how
unicorn in Travis Hunter.
again, it's not about what he didn't do. It's
It is
essentially
because you're saying that
no. I'm
he
saying
no.
those records can be broken. Winning the Heisman is
So
way
so
more
so
harder
Tim
than breaking the
Tim
records.
Tebow's could be broken too. That's I mean,
Exactly, and he still hasn't been retired.
so I mean, all of these records are meant to be broken. So so
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
in your logic, then LeBron shouldn't be retired either because his records could be broken
That's
too.
not that again.
But you're
LeBron
saying,
is far off. He's so far off. Again,
but what I'm
if
saying
if
to you,
if
but
if
what I'm saying to you is what is Jersey retirement worthy?
winning the Heisman,
That's
bringing championships.
so
They didn't
that's
even
it.
win their conference championship.
So because somebody wins a champion, if somebody wins a championship, their jersey should be retired. So you think
Bro, they
Stetson
just
Bennett's jersey should be retired?
listen. They only won two more
No,
games than
listen
what
to
they
what I'm
won
saying.
the
Listen to
season
what I'm saying.
before.
So do you think Stetson Bennett's jersey should be retired?
Yes,
I
dude.
don't
Matthew
believe you.
Stafford's jersey could probably be retired.
No.
All these greats that have come through
But see,
Georgia.
but that's my point. All these races come through Georgia. Not
Again,
many greats have come through Colorado, brother.
again, I get it. I get that. I get that. But at the same time, I told you to begin with. I'm still on the fence about it.
Shador
That
literally
doesn't mean
won
like I'm
Golden Arm.
totally against it.
He
That
won the Golden Arm Award, which is the most prestigious award next to having a Heisman for a quarterback.
yes, okay.
Right? He did that with zero line. He
This
won games that they should not have won. Like I can let you know. Like I've watched games that they should not have won, but because of his arm, they
we
were able to win
we
it.
I guarantee you, all of us watch the same game. But again,
So
I'm on the fence
what
of
he
me.
threw he did not throw a lot of interceptions in his 2 years. He didn't throw that many interceptions.
Congrats,
That's
congrats.
that's good. What do you
I get
mean?
that, but at the same time. I'm me being on the fence about it doesn't mean I'm 1,000% just
But I'm saying, but what
don't
makes
do
you
it.
under the fence? So what? Because he was. What
Again,
makes you?
my thing is the rarity of winning a Heisman rather than breaking records is it just feels like me breaking records is a lot more common than winning the Heisman.
Not necessarily. Not
One
necessarily.
thousand percent, Stack.
You
Come
have a
on,
Heisman
brother.
winner every year. You don't have
Not
records
at
broken every year.
Colorado. Not at Colorado though.
And what I'm saying to you is, what I'm saying to you is, I so I think you're arguing that Travis should have won, right?
One what?
He won the Heisman. He should,
Yeah.
and you arguing that he should be in,
Agree. Yes.
right? So let's get that out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
We're just talking Shador.
Yeah.
When's the last time a Colorado quarterback has been in the Heisman conversation?
It's probably if not ever millions of years ago probably.
Right. Shador was in the Heisman conversation at
Okay.
one point.
Okay.
He put up the yards. He won
Okay.
the golden. He won the freaking golden arm. He won it over Cam Ward, which was a dog. He won it over everybody else that was in the college football this past year, right? He put up the numbers. His completion percentage is great. He did not throw a lot of interceptions. He put up stats better than a lot of quarterbacks that have played 3 years at Colorado. So if him and Travis are the best two players to ever come through Colorado in X amount of years that don't
Yeah.
have a historically great program, and you get two players that are probably going to get drafted first round,
Yes.
that that have won awards and broke records, they deserve their jersey retired. Because
Okay.
to me, it's program based. Like Tim Tebow
Agreed.
hasn't got it because Tim Tebow won one championship, right?
Okay.
Although and a Heisman. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong, Tim Tebow is
Yeah.
arguably one of the best quarterbacks to play college football. I mean, I agree with you,
Mm-hmm.
but Florida's program has historically been great up until the last few years.
Right.
So the records he broken hasn't been close because they haven't had any good quarterbacks, right?
Oh.
But prior to that,
Mm-hmm.
all those years, Florida has been great, a great
Yeah.
football program. You know,
Okay, okay. Let me throw this at you real quick because you made that statement about the first round. Then I just want to throw this your way and call and listen. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. The best college football team to ever come through by far, 2019 LSU, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Chase, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All four of those guys, first round. Why they haven't been retired yet?
they should be retired,
Agreed.
but they Tim Tebow should be retired too. But
Okay.
again, you winning is nothing new for LSU.
Yeah.
These are historically great programs.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado is not a historically great program.
Okay.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
All right. Okay. Okay. All right.
So
Let me. Okay. Let me.
does Shador deserve College Football Hall of Fame? Hell no, no. But I'm saying
Oh.
for that school. Now, had he been at Georgia and did what he did, heck no, he should not
Okay.
be. You
Okay. All
know,
right.
or had
Now.
he been at Florida, you see what I'm saying? I'm
Okay.
saying based because of the school, he's being retired for the school.
I'll I'll put it like this, and I'm gonna throw a little bit of recency bias in as well. Maybe if it would have been retired down the line and not so soon, a lot of people would have been more like accepting to it because of how recent this is happening or how soon this is happening. I think a lot more
You
people
know,
are.
but I respect it. Just not
Mhm.
because it's his son and it was all of that.
Yeah.
I respect it because for one, you want to give play like I think the Lacey thing, which rest in peace, tragic situation. But I think the Lacey thing opened Dion's eyes because we do all of this, play all these players put up these amazing numbers, they play great in college, and we'll say, okay, we're gonna retire their number someday. But then, you know what I'm saying, life happens like that. You
Hmm.
know, I personally think it shouldn't be a time limit on when a player should be retired, you
Hmm.
know, because for all we know, we don't know that player could pass 4 years from now, and then he can't really get his flowers
Yeah.
like he's supposed to. Tim Tebow should have been retired. His Georgia should have been retired. Uh, Burrow, same thing. Jefferson, same thing. These players, to me, should have been retired.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm in agreement with you on those players not being retired. Should have been retired, but you got
Yeah.
to think of these programs that we're talking about. You
Hmm.
know, Burrow didn't do any outside of the championship year. Prior to that, he didn't do anything that wasn't already done before. Because that same team that won the championship was the same team they had the year before that. You know? So um Burrow didn't put up an insane amount of numbers, he put up average numbers, you know, for that program. I'm saying for that program. Tim Tebow, he that year, he won the Heisman, yes. Johnny Manziel, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Put up an insane amount of numbers that hadn't been seen in his program's history. Texas A&M. We know Texas A&M only because of Johnny Manziel. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing we think about. Although there's been great players to come out, Johnny Football is the first one you think of when you think about Texas A&M. Florida, depending on what area you grew up in, he you might say Tim Tebow, you might say a host of other players. You know, Georgia, same thing. You might even go back to Champ Bailey with Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Stafford, no Sean Marino. Like you have a plethora of players. Like being great at these programs is not uncommon. Being great at Colorado is not something that you see every year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like even this upcoming year, like I think we'll see a lot more players come through, and of course his records are going to be broken because he only had 2 years to do it.
Right.
He broke those records in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So you got a freshman coming there, and if he stays long enough, he'll break those records and then some. You know, but before that program, that is historic. They brought the life back into that program. Well,
Mhm.
they brought life into that program
Yeah.
because I don't remember when Colorado was ever good. I could, but
Yeah.
I'm no shade to Colorado fans, but I don't remember a time when they were good. But I say that to say because that program has not historically been good. The expectation is a little different than
Right.
going to Ohio State or Georgia or Florida or something like that because your impact is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, had Shador went to Florida, Georgia, would he have been good? Yes. But I think he would have been as great? I don't necessarily know. You know, would he
Yeah.
have been retired? I don't think so. You know, but because they chose that program in particular. I don't even know if Travis Hunter would have been as dominant as he was at Colorado had he went to a Georgia, Florida, or any of these other schools. I think he would have been good. I just don't know if he would have been as great. I don't know.
Mhm.
He might have been great. I don't know. But I'm just saying for what we have to see and what we have to go off of, for that
Yeah.
program in particular, they did something that hadn't been done, if at all, or in a long time.
Mhm.
So for Colorado, I expect that. For other schools, maybe not so much. You know what I'm saying? And for how soon it was, I mean, why is it a time limit on when you should have your number retired? You know what I mean? Like, if you were great and now you're gone, you're not coming back, you getting drafted. Like, when's the last first round draft pick you've seen at Colorado? Now you've
Mhm.
got two.
Yeah.
Dion should be in the Hall of. I mean, and his name should be retired. They should rename the stadium Deion Sanders because of how they put how they've changed the culture there. Now, yes, they do have to win before all of that happens. They do have to make playoffs and do all of that stuff. Yes, but individually, I think both of those players deserve their jerseys retired. That is me at Colorado. College Football Hall of Fame, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different landscape. Tim Tebow, College Football Hall of Fame. Not retired at Florida, but College Football Hall of Fame. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, these players have had their jerseys retired, but they're deserving of College Football Hall of Fame. It's a difference. Like Johnny Manziel, same thing. Reggie
Mhm.
Bush, same thing. You know, so um, I think it's a thin line between what people perceive as retirement worthy and Hall of Fame worthy. Just because
Yeah.
your jersey was retired does not mean that you're Hall of Fame worthy, or but on the other side, if you're Hall of Fame worthy, your jersey definitely should be retired.
Mhm.
You know. So um yeah, I think that for that program, yes, they deserve their jerseys retired.
Mhm.
Just because they've done something special that hadn't been done in a while, if at all.
Yeah.
And it could be done again in the next few years, but we don't know.
Mhm.
You know, um,
I mean, the way
as
they're talking about this Juju Lewis, I mean, he could very well do that, but we'll see
I mean,
though.
I hear that,
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
I'm
saying. I
cool.
hear it, but I gotta see it.
Now, if now you and then if he does it, you have to look at everything.
Hmm.
If he has no line and he does it, and he does it the same way Shadur did it and does it better, okay, cool. But if you have a line, yes, you'll get the respect, but it's like, well, this is like what prime example. I'm gonna give a Bear Sanders is arguably the greatest running back ever. The reason that people put him over others is because he didn't have a line. He literally did all the work himself, you know. But then you look at other players, they had line. Like Emmitt Smith had a great line, and this, that, and the third. So still great, but you know, when I got the whole team in my backfield and I'm making 11 guys miss, I'm kind of the best because they can't touch me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so now that you say that, you know what I'm gonna say, right?
What
Boise State better retire Ashton Jinty then.
they definitely should.
They
They
better
definitely
retire.
should.
They better
Say, I'm
retire
not
that dude.
disagreeing with you
Yeah,
that
yeah,
these other players shouldn't have their
yeah.
jerseys retired. I'm
Uh-huh.
not disagreeing with that. I'm just like, I don't have to give them flowers and not give
Right.
Shadur and them flowers. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, they deserve it too because they did something, although it wasn't Ashton Genty numbers, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They still did something for that individual program.
Hmm.
You know, not for the grand scheme of college football. Like, they shouldn't have their jerseys retired from all of college football. Heck no. Like, that's not no. They're not Michael Jordan. They
Right.
not putting those numbers like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like for that program, yes. But you have to think, though, that program is not a winningest program. We're used to rooting for teams that have big time players come through there. Like although Auburn's been up and down and has been bad, they've had great players come through there. Georgia, great players come through there. Florida, LSU, you know, Florida State even. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they've all had great players come through there. It just has been a while. So we are like, like because I was too young to watch that Miami team or that the Florida State teams. I was too young to remember a lot of that stuff, you know. But I do remember bits and pieces of seeing like Warwick Dunn when he was there and stuff like that. But uh so all I have to go off of, like Tim Tebow was my era where I can remember everything. Like Reggie Bush, I remember everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So um it's like these teams have been historically good. It's just maybe not so great now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, I mean, retirement. I mean, to me, it just goes off of historically what have you done and what did you do to make yourself retirement worthy. You know, um, and them look at that the bar wasn't set high for them. I mean, it's not their fault. You know, so
Yeah.
that's my take on it. I'm not saying that you gotta agree. I'm just saying that's my side of it.
I got you. I got you. All right. Well, now to yeah, no, I got you. I got you. But we've definitely went well over an hour. So it's time to wrap up. But before we sign off, we definitely want to send our most heartfelt condolences. Oh my God, to someone who, I mean, us here at College Couch have enjoyed analyzing and just talking about and how just well he played, man. God, just even waking up to that news. I was actually with Justice and his family this a few days ago, and literally picking up my phone and reading what I read still just does not sit well with me, man. Kyra Lacey passing away at the young age of 25. Um, I mean, just the absolute gem of a player, one of a kind, electric, eccentric, just, I mean,
Always full of energy from what I saw.
always,
Always.
always. And I mean, just watching him and Malik Nabers on Saturdays, and even Garrett Nussmeier, man, like just the sync like those three had together just was an absolute thing of beauty in Baton Rouge. Um, and I think it just goes to say, man, like check on your people, man. Check on your people, talk to people, take care of your mental health. I mean, I know when it comes to the podcast, me and Stackz aren't the most consistent because even us, we need our mental health days where we, need to handle things and get things in order, just personal, and we have to take that time out because when we start doing, you know, at it kind of drains us, and and we need to just take some time and be around our family because one thing about us, we're very big on family, and so it's not because we don't want to do the podcast. It's not because we just, it's just some days where it's just like, man, I can't give my best today, and so with that being said, man, me and Stackz are huge advocates for mental health. Invest in a therapist. Again, talk to people, talk to your family. Just reach out. There are resources online to help you. There are so many things and to help. I wish I could say more, but I think it's just really crazy to just see how all of this unfolded, because it
Yeah.
just happened so quickly. I mean, it was only a few weeks ago where we were seeing him doing his pro day workout at you know at the Saints Stadium. So it's very difficult to process a lot of what has happened. But again, I think that just goes to say, just check on people, man. Just reach out, reach
Check
out.
on your people. Hey, you can always hit me if
Mhm.
you want to talk. Ain't about
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Hey, whether we strangers or not, your life is more important than the icebreaker, man. We could, hey, hit my line. My line is always open.
yeah.
Always,
Absolutely,
always.
absolutely. Yeah, I don't think we definitely aren't bigger or better than anybody. I mean, y'all might have some favorite hosts who y'all wish y'all could reach out to, man. Shoot, reach out to us. Listen, we I think we're all in this together. Again, nobody's bigger or better than anybody else, but man, I think your life means so much more to be here and continue living out the best way you can. So but yeah, man. Oh man, Kyron Lacey gone at the age of 25, man. And so we're just gonna close out the episode. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us for over an hour and a half and kicking it with us, man. We love y'all. Thank y'all for loving us. Thank y'all for supporting us. And yeah, man. Stackz, my brother, take us home.
Hey, man, check on your people.
Mhm.
Let them know. But hey, College Couch Podcast, man, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all tap in with us. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell a cousin, auntie, grandmama them. College Couch Podcast is where it's at. Till next time, we got bills to pay. We out of here. Uh, wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta go get it.